piano is the most common musical instrument, and for a good reason. It lets us play multiple voices at the same time in all registers, and the pedal makes possible an even greater richness of sound. Nonetheless, many students have no real understanding of what makes good piano writing, so they write for it like a chorale. This isn't a good idea since, unlike voices, the piano can't sustain for long. It also ignores a lot of what makes the piano distinctive. In this lesson, I'll take a few examples of beautiful piano writing and examine what it is exactly that makes them so successful. For our first example, let's see the beginning of Chopin's first Prelude from Opus 28. Here it is. Like many of Chopin's works, this would be inconceivable without the pedal. The rich arpeggio figuration provides movement and fills out the harmony. However, all the notes in each chord can't be held at the same time, so the pedal adds a rich harmonic halo to the arpeggios. Without it, it'd be much harder to make clear the three planes of tone: the top line with its motive, the bass line, and harmonic filler. In performance, it's very important that the planes of tone be clear. Pianists call this voicing. Here are the first few measures without pedal and without appropriate voicing. This is totally unmusical and definitely not what Chopin had in mind. Now another example, the beginning of Debussy's La Cathedral Anglote. The sustained chord in the outer registers at the start becomes background for the rising line and quarter notes. Then in measure 2, the low D, G, D is like an answer to them from a gong. This kind of contrast of register, like a dialogue between different instruments, is very effective on the piano. After repeating the opening idea, with the bass now on F, a new texture starts at the end of the second system. The E pedal becomes the background for the moving line and octaves. Again, none of this would be possible without the pedal. Now a third example from Schumann's Kreisleriana. Notice the many varied orchestrations here. This is real piano writing. First, the melody is in the middle part of the right hand for 2 bars. Then in the third bar, it switches to the left hand. In the fourth bar, the melody is doubled in the top part and the upper left hand part. In the fifth bar, the melody switches to the lowest part. These changes of register realize the melody as a conversation between various voices, again as if they were orchestrated for different instruments. Notice also that the chords don't all have the same number of notes. This is very common as well in piano writing, varying the weight of the texture. The grace notes on the left hand allow the pianist to play the bass line and the upper parts at the same time. The next section exhibits a similar dialogue, but with different contrasting motive. It's also stored fuller because of the new daughter dynamic. Finally, when the first idea returns, at the bottom of the example, it's once again scored differently, now appearing in the bass. This page is a good example of how to approach the piano idiomatically. In effect, one should think of the piano as a kind of orchestra. Just as one would not orchestrate a whole piece with just one single arrangement of the instruments, longer piano passages usually include varying textures, registers, doublings, and figuration, creating multiple rich planes of tone and a sense of multiple voices in conversation. Piano figuration is a whole subject in itself. If you want to understand it more deeply, look at Chopin's Preludes and Etudes, Debussy's Preludes, and also Rachmaninoff's Preludes. All these works are very richly and imaginatively scored by composers who were pianists themselves and had a deep understanding of the piano's possibilities. To sum up, when you think of the piano, think of register and dialogue, planes of tone, voicing, rich figuration, and the pedal.